The Federal Bureau of Investigation is responsible for a range of different tasks, which may involve locating both missing people and convicted felons. Occasionally, some of these cases leave behind more of a mystery that may take years to be solved. Number 5. It was in the early morning hours of the 13th of October in 2018 that Richard Eddy had seen a young woman walking past his house in Mono County, California. He immediately thought that this was something unusual. He noted that she had long hair and wore a t-shirt and gray pants. When speaking with the FBI, Eddy explained that the woman was holding a piece of paper and waving it in the air as she walked by. Not long after 8 a.m., another woman knocked on his door, asking if he had seen her daughter. The woman in question was 16-year-old Carly Guse. Eddy had volunteered to get on his bike and drive into a canyon that was nearby to see if Carly was still somewhere on the road. Eddy returned a short time later to give the mother some disappointing news. Carly was gone. It's believed that Eddy was the last person to have seen the missing teen. Carly Guse disappeared in the White Mountain Estate area of Chalfont Valley in Mono County at her family's residence. She was reported missing on the 13th of October. She had left all of her belongings behind as she walked out of the residence, including her mobile phone. It was detailed that the woman was walking 30 yards east of Highway 6, 100 yards south of Sierra View Road that morning. A thorough search of the surrounding area was carried out, but it proved futile. Carly has not been in contact with her family or friends since the disappearance. The Mono County Sheriff's Office and the FBI are appealing for more information on the whereabouts of this individual. Carly was born on the 13th of May in 2002. She's said to have blue eyes and dark blonde hair. She weighed 110 pounds at the time of her disappearance and was at a height of 5 feet and 7 inches. She's said to have a nose piercing on the left side of her nostril. Should anyone have any further information regarding her or her whereabouts, you're asked to contact the Mono County Sheriff's Office using the email address carlygusetips@monosheriff.org. You can also contact 7609-325-678. The Sacramento FBI office number is 916746700. Anonymous tips can be submitted through tips.fbi.gov. The FBI is also currently offering a $5,000 reward for information that leads to the location of Carly Guse. It's since been 5 years since the disappearance, and the story seems to leave more questions than answers. Carly had been living with her father, Zachary Guse, stepmother Melissa, and 2 siblings in a town near Bishop. She was described as being well-liked in school and didn't have conflicts with other teens. On the evening of the 12th of October, the woman had attended a party with her boyfriend, Donald Arrowwood III. It was said that she appeared to have an adverse reaction to a substance and began to feel afraid. This was when she phoned Melissa to come and get her. The stepmother arrived at 9 p.m. to get her, but Carly was running down the street when she arrived. Melissa recalled that she looked extremely pale when she picked her up. The woman continued her erratic behavior and would switch between being affectionate and worrying that she needed to read the Bible. This is when Melissa and Zachary began to record her, but since the video and audio have never been released, it's hard to deduce what exactly had been captured. In some second-hand accounts, some say that the woman had requested that her parents call 911. This is when some of the timeline of events that unfolded begins to lose clarity. Melissa initially stated that she had checked in on Carly the following morning at 45 minutes past 5. She was asleep at this time. At 15 minutes past 7, Melissa states that she went back into the room to wake Carly up but found that she was gone. Later on, Melissa made another statement where she said that she had stayed in Carly's room the rest of that evening, and when Melissa woke at 7 a.m., Carly was gone. The timeline then goes on to Zachary and Melissa beginning to search their homes as well as the neighborhood for their missing daughter. They knocked on a few doors before reaching Eddy's, which is confirmed by his account. When 9 a.m. came around, they'd already searched the surrounding area before calling the authorities. Law enforcement had taken to searching along Highway 6 near White Mountains Estates Road and went into the canyons and the mountains using canines and helicopters. Carly's father stated that she either crossed the desert so far that she was no longer able to be tracked, or she was abducted and could have gotten into the wrong car with the wrong person. When the 2-year anniversary of Carly's disappearance came around, the FBI then made use of a campaign to revive interest in the disappearance of Carly. Investigators inspected her mobile phone and her social media, and have spoken to her friends and family numerous amounts of times. The Mono County Sheriff, Ingrid Braun, stated that they'd never experienced a case such as this one. Due to the absence of substantial facts, this has left the case open to speculation. Their family has appeared on Nancy Grace's podcast, Crime Stories, Dateline, and even Dr. Phil. The story of Carly's disappearance has been spread across many platforms, such as YouTube and Facebook, which have all received many comments, which resulted in the sheriff asking the public not to harass the family. There appears to be an opinion among many over Carly's mental state when she disappeared based on insufficient information. Some individuals believe that she had ingested something at the party that triggered some sort of psychosis. But this would not explain how someone can vanish in only a few hours since she had last been spotted. FBI Special Agent Sean Reagan had stated that they would not be giving up on the case concerning Carly. He expressed that people don't just vanish into thin air and she must be somewhere. The case has also been featured on Reddit to gain more public assistance under the subreddit Missing Persons. A description of the missing person has been detailed, and Carly Lane Guse would now be the age of 21 years old. Some of the commenters have pointed out various inconsistencies in some aspects of the case as well. It's uncertain what the missing woman had been experiencing during the time of the disappearance, but this case is rather suspicious and remains a mystery that needs to be solved. It's certainly one that has shocked the community in the area. Number 4. The following case is a product of investigation by the FBI. From August of 2006 to May of 2008, 2 brothers named Volodymyr Dubinsky and Leonid Dubinsky are said to have built, developed, and then sold estates in Carmichael, Sacramento, and Copperopolis. The estate market began to decline, and so the 2 brothers recruited members of their family, employees, as well as associates who had good credit, so that they could act as straw buyers. Straw buyers refer to people who knowingly purchase or receive an item from someone else who's not qualified, so that that person can buy it themselves. This was the Copperopolis mortgage fraud scheme, where 9 people were convicted. Among those 9 are the 2 brothers, Leonid and Volodymyr, along with some of their relatives. A federal grand jury came back with 4 indictments on the 13th of September in 2012. The first of the 4 had charged Svetlana Dubinsky, a 48-year-old of Boca Raton, a 29-year-old from San Francisco named Sergei Dubinsky, and 49-year-old Zenaida Chiketa from Antelope. The second one charged Volodymyr, who was 53 years old from Folsom, Leonid, who was 47 from Copperopolis, 55-year-old Edward Calfin from San Mateo, and Robin DiMichele at the age of 55 and from Brentwood. The final 2 indictments had charged 55-year-old Diana Woods from Citrus Heights and 34-year-old Corey Schmidley from Linden. Calfin is said to be a licensed mortgage broker at his company, Bay Financial. DiMichele was a licensed real estate salesperson from Trinity Mortgage Capital, which was affiliated with Windsor Mortgage Capital, and Woods had assisted in the fraud by submitting loan applications for the straw buyers. It was alleged that they had prepared as well as submitted applications to lenders, falsely stating the straw buyers' income, assets, and their intent to occupy the houses as a primary residence. The buyers involved included Woods, DiMichele, Svetlana, Dubinsky, Chiketa, and Schmidley. 4 of these individuals have since pleaded guilty and face a maximum sentencing of 20 years for mail fraud, along with a $250,000 fine, and another 30 years in prison, with a $1 million fine for the false loan statements and credit applications. The 4 include Svetlana Dubinsky, Sergei Dubinsky, Zenaida Chiketa, and Corey Schmidley. According to documentation, Calfin is said to have been found guilty of 12 counts of mail fraud and 11 counts of false statements and loan applications, while DiMichele is found guilty of 6 counts of mail fraud, 6 counts of false statements and loan applications. Calfin and DiMichele began their sentences in February of 2016. Calfin and DiMichele had been sentenced by the United States District Judge William Shub. They're facing a maximum statutory penalty of up to 20 years and a $250,000 fine for mail fraud. They'll also be facing 30 years in prison and a $1 million fine for the false statements, as well as the loan applications. It's stated that the two brothers, Volodymyr and Leonid, are facing charges of mail and bank fraud in connection with the scheme, which had involved the purchase of 19 homes. 9 of these homes were in the Calypso Bay subdivision in Calaveras County. They had made use of fake building permits to develop and sell these houses. The FBI, along with the Internal Revenue Service, has investigated the cause and gathered sufficient evidence. Todd A. Pickles and Roger Yang, assistant United States attorneys, were prosecuting the case at the time. The final sentencing would be determined at the discretion of the court, after the consideration of applicable statutory factors as well as the federal sentencing guidelines that will take various valuables into account. These schemes had resulted in $10 million in bad loans and $5 million in losses to lenders. The FBI is currently looking for the two brothers behind the mortgage fraud scheme, Leonid Dubinsky and Volodymyr Dubinsky. Leonid is known by aliases such as Lenny, with his surname spelled differently. He was born on the 19th of April, 1969 and has gray hair. He's said to be a height of 5 feet and 6 inches and weighs around 200 pounds. He's described as having dark eyes and was born in Russia. Leonid is said to be related to Svetlana, Vladimir, Walter, Hannah, and Enrique. He's previously lived in Sunnyvale, Sacramento, Calabasas, Redwood City, Copperopolis, San Francisco, and Antelope, all of which are in California. He's been employed at Dubinsky Technologies, L&B Food LLC, Gold West Construction Inc., and Truxell Properties LLC. He was born on the 28th of January, 1965 and was born in Ukraine. He's described as having brown hair and eyes. Volodymyr is 5 feet and 6 inches tall and weighs around 220 pounds. His occupation is said to be in real estate development and internet business. He's previously lived in Folsom, Elk Grove, Sunnyvale, Martinez, Copperopolis, Sacramento, and Calabasas, all of which are in California. He also lived in Palm Coast and Claremont in Florida. 2 federal arrest warrants for the brothers were issued on the 14th of September in 2012 in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of California after being charged with mail fraud. It's encouraged that should anyone have any information on the whereabouts of the 2 men, that they contact their local FBI office or their closest American embassy. The brothers are believed to be currently residing in Ukraine. The charges against these individuals are at this point considered to be only allegations. They're presumed to be innocent until proven guilty. In this case, one may face a fine of $1 million if the amount involved is above a certain level. The fine amount would reflect the seriousness of the crime. A 30-year prison sentence may also be applicable, but a misdemeanor may be as little as a year. Another penalty would be that the defendant would have to compensate the victim. The punishment increases based on the amount that was defrauded. This reflects greatly on the alleged crimes that Volodymyr and Leonid, as well as the others, had committed, based on the sentences that have played out. It's warned that you should be cautious around the 2 brothers, as they are wanted fugitives. Number 3. Convicted felon Hamed Ahmed El-Barki has had a fugitive profile since the 9th of July in 2016. He's wanted for his involvement in a mortgage fraud scheme where individuals had been defrauded of around $2 million. It was alleged that El-Barki had been doing business as Aventura Trust Investments Corporation from September of 2007 to March of 2008, when he solicited money from 2 people who resided in South America. The 2 individuals in question believed that they were investing in a short-term purchase, as well as a sale of residential mortgage loans, which promised 50% returns. Unfortunately, this isn't what happened. The felon is said to have misappropriated the funds that these 2 people had invested and used them for personal reasons. On the 11th of December in 2008, the man was indicted federally by the United States District Court, Southern Court of Florida in Miami for securities fraud, as well as wire fraud, according to documentation of the court and FBI knowledge. On that same day, a federal arrest warrant had been released for the arrest of El-Barki. According to the FBI website, El-Barki is said to be hiding in plain sight in the United Arab Emirates, which is said to have no extradition treaty with the United States. El-Barki was born on the 12th of February in 1977 in New Jersey. He goes by the aliases including Hamed El-Barki and Eddie El-Barki. He has brown hair that was bald or shaved at the time and blue eyes. He's an American man who can also speak Arabic. El-Barki is said to be 5'11" and weighs around 210 pounds. Should anyone have information regarding the whereabouts of him, you're encouraged to contact your local FBI office or the nearest American embassy. He's said to be working in the sales industry, and as of 2018, he's still listed on the FBI's most wanted list and remains at large. El-Barki is also said to have sold cars as well as investment opportunities. Additionally, he worked at a mortgage brokerage firm. It's believed that he may have traveled to places such as Dubai, Cairo, and the United Arab Emirates. He's also said to have family connections to Florida. El-Barki is said to be involved in the Fortress Prime scheme. He's wanted by the FBI and involved in wire fraud as well as mortgage fraud. Fortress Prime had made headlines after its clients had come into delays in the processing of withdrawal requests. The company would later wind down their business after they'd promised clients a payment of 25 cents on the dollar, which they're yet to receive. Various attempts have been made by the clients to withdraw funds, which concluded after the man behind the scheme was apprehended. The clients are now looking at mounting a legal case against El-Barki so that they can receive their funds. El-Barki is said to position himself as a private banker, as well as a fund manager who specializes in fund management, wealth management, residential, as well as commercial real estate loan organization and funding. He's also said to credit himself with the experience of private equity, along with both mutual and hedge funds. Strangely, he's also said to place himself as an investor in the movie industry. El-Barki's Twitter name is listed as Hamed Mokhtar, which is the name he uses as the managing director of Fortress Capital Investments. This profile shows a rather clear image of him. While there may be some confusion relating to the case, since there is still a wanted poster up on the FBI website, despite the fact that he's actually been apprehended, this is due to the fact that El-Barki faces another criminal charge that is separate from this one. As of 2018, he's still a wanted individual. With the collapse of Fortress Prime and the capital investments still in operation, clients were expecting a full repayment plan, while smaller clients held less than $150,000. This may appear familiar to people who were lost in El-Barki's home loan catastrophe, for which he had been wanted for over 10 years by the FBI. In the last months that the company was not paying withdrawals, they tried to launch new offices in Asia. The CEO, Mitch Eaglestein, later announced that he had resigned from the company due to its decline and not being paid a salary for 2 months, and was continuously assured that he would be paid in full on multiple dates. The authorities were eventually able to catch up with the felon in UAE while issuing fraudulent checks, and they were subsequently jailed. But on the FBI system, he's still registered as a wanted individual as of 2018, even though he was apprehended in 2016. El-Barki was able to escape and evade arrest for about 11 years after his initial offenses, which led him to his nefarious activities involving Prime Fortress. This had concluded when he had issued checks from an account that didn't have any funds in it, which was a critical mistake. A thorough investigation ensued and was carried out by finance magnates, and they were able to confirm the rumors relating to the ownership of Fortress Prime that had been circulating online. This company had very rarely spoken of shareholders, but documents reveal that there were in fact 4 shareholders, which included our convicted felon. It was stated that El-Barki was indicted federally by the U.S. District Court of Florida for wire fraud and securities fraud, and that same day an arrest warrant was issued. Number 2. The FBI is looking for assistance in locating 2 individuals who they believe to be armed and dangerous. 25-year-old Lori Lynn Flower and Santiago Hernandez Jr., who's 26 years old, are both from Houston and are said to be connected to a case of armed and fatal kidnappings of migrants. In March, it was reported that the 3 migrants had been involved in kidnapping in Waller County, where 3 people were wounded while the assailants fled the scene. It was stated that the victims had been held hostage in Houston in hotels, while the felons requested ransom from the families of the victims. It was reported that the group of perpetrators are being charged with beating and threatening the victims that they held as hostages. Both Flowers and Hernandez are said to possibly face a life sentence for the role that they'd played in the entire event. It's stated that there have been a total of 8 individuals that were charged with connection to the case. A $5,000 reward is also being offered by the FBI to anyone who helps in tracking down the 2 individuals who are part of this kidnapping and who they beat on camera. It's stated that the 2 are facing federal charges for aiding and abetting kidnapping. The videos were allegedly sent to the families of the victims, where they additionally demanded money for the safe release of the 3 victims. U.S. Attorney Alamdar S. Hamdani, James Smith, who's the FBI Houston special agent, and authorities came together to hold a conference where they appealed for the public's assistance in locating the 2 individuals. The Bureau believes that the 2 individuals might be in Eagle Pass or Piedras Negras in Mexico. They also have ties to Houston, which is where the 2 are said to come from. The authorities believe that Flowers and Hernandez are traveling together. The remaining 6 individuals, who were also involved, were taken into custody for the part they played in the ordeal. This included 24-year-old Brian Martinez and 33-year-old Miguel Gonzalez, who were placed into custody on the 25th and 26th of July for human smuggling. Martinez was said to face a hearing on the 3rd of August. 25-year-old Christian Hernandez was also due to appear before the United States Magistrate Judge, Sam S. Sheldon. 28-year-old Zachary Austin Palomo, 26-year-old Alex Anthony Fisher, and 25-year-old Brenda Roxana Serrano Figueroa have been placed in custody and will remain as such on kidnapping charges. According to court documentation, on the 17th and 18th of March, a migrant smuggling operation had extended to becoming an armed kidnapping of 3. In relation to the United States Attorney's Office, testimony revealed that the kidnappers had allowed 2 of the hostages to leave after their ransom had been paid, while law enforcement had to conduct a special operation to be able to rescue the last victim. One of the suspects is said to have lost their lives. The arrest warrants for Hernandez and Flowers currently remain outstanding. Authorities encourage that should anyone have any information regarding the whereabouts of the 2 individuals, that they should contact the Federal Bureau of Investigation on 1-800-FBI 225324. It's also made aware that an indictment is a formal accusation and does not reflect evidence. A defendant is presumed to be innocent until proven guilty through the process. Lori Lynn Flowers is said to be going by aliases including La Narca and Laura Hernandez. She was born on the 6th of April in 1998 in Texas. She's described as having blonde hair and blue eyes. At the time, she was said to have a height of 5 feet and 3 inches and weighed 220 pounds. She can speak both English and Spanish. Santiago Hernandez is said to go by aliases like Flaco, Jay, and Black. He was born on the 8th of June in 1997 in Texas. He has black hair and brown eyes. The fugitive is said to stand at 5 feet and 11 inches tall and weighs around 190 pounds. He too can speak both English and Spanish. Hernandez is said to have various tattoos which are on his arms, hands, and upper chest region, and it's warned that he could be armed and dangerous. While it was initially stated that a $5,000 reward was being offered for information regarding the 2 individuals, the official FBI site states that a $25,000 reward is being offered for any information leading to the apprehension of Flowers and Hernandez. A timeline of the events that occurred unfolded on the 18th of March when the trafficking operation started in Eagle Pass. A group of cars were said to chase down 6 migrants who were traveling in a truck. It was alleged that the perpetrators had opened fire on them. They had then taken some of the migrants captive and demanded ransom. On the 21st of March, 2 individuals were released after the ransom had been paid. On the 23rd of March, a successful operation was carried out to rescue the remaining victim. On the 25th and 26th of July, some of the kidnappers were taken into custody. It was found that if Flowers, Palomo, Hernandez, Figueroa, and Fisher are convicted, that they'll be facing life in prison. While the remaining parties are said to face a $250,000 fine as well as up to 10 years in prison. The 3 individuals who were kidnapped are said to now be part of the Victim Witness Program at the Department of Justice and will receive counseling and resources. As of today, the 2 individuals are still listed on the FBI's most wanted and need to be captured and brought into custody. And if found guilty of these allegations, they're to be brought to justice where they may face life in prison. It was expressed that the federal indictments on the individuals involved had come after authorities allegedly arrested 2 teenagers for their involvement. Number 1. Trong Duc Liu is wanted by authorities for charges of conspiracy to kidnap, 3 counts of kidnapping, interstate travel in aid of racketeering, extortion-related offenses, as well as aiding and abetting. It's also believed that Liu may be affiliated with a gang. He was born in the Republic of Vietnam and is described as having black hair and brown eyes. He's a height of 5 feet and 7 inches tall and weighs around 140 pounds. Liu is said to be involved in the nail technician business. He's said to have a variety of tattoos, which include one of a dragon on his back with the words Asian Pride in large script. He also has an unknown symbol on his left pectoral. Both arms have been heavily tattooed, which include a dragon and a claw design, as well as a tiger. A reward of up to $50,000 is being offered by the FBI for any information that leads directly to the arrest of the man. The FBI website briefly described that he's wanted for his connection to an August of 2014 case of torture, kidnapping, and homicide of 2 Vietnamese men who were brothers, which occurred in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A 3rd victim was also subjected to violence but managed to survive. On the 10th of July, 2019, an arrest warrant was issued by the United States District Court, Eastern District of Pennsylvania, after the charges were presented. He's to be considered both armed and dangerous, and is an international flight risk. The story regarding the supposed gang member played out in New York City when a man was convicted of the part he had in the kidnapping plot with the Vietnamese gang that Liu is affiliated with. This plot had led to the lives of 2 brothers being taken away from them and being thrown into a river. The convicted man was 37-year-old Jason Rivera from Queens. He had been found guilty of kidnapping as well as extortion. Rivera was allegedly paid by a gang in order to collect a $300,000 debt from dealers in Philadelphia. Special Agent Jacqueline McGuire of the FBI Philadelphia Division expressed that what Rivera and the co-conspirators had done to their victims had been so heinous that even years later, the homicides and attempted homicides still stand out. Rivera was convicted of taking the lives of Viet and Vu Hyun. There had been a 3rd victim named Tan Vung, who luckily was able to escape the ordeal. The survivor also testified in court, detailing that he could sense he was in danger before feeling a sharp pain in his body, and then felt as though he was being submerged in water. Rivera's attorney was Thomas Marigliano, and he stated that the testimonies made during the trial of the men who were involved in the kidnapping should be discredited on the grounds that they were just looking to save themselves from being put behind bars. Upon reaching a guilty verdict, it was reported that Rivera had mumbled, "This is crazy." He's now serving a life sentence in prison. In August of 2014, Rivera, John Dow, and Trung Liu had been recruited by Lam Tru, who was a New York City dealer and an ex-member of the BTK gang. Their mission was to head to Philadelphia to collect money that was owed. It was alleged that the 2 brothers were tied up and restrained before enduring assault. Vung was lured there to bring money for the 2 brothers, but found that he was quickly and violently restrained. After this, the men were either critically or fatally wounded before being loaded in a truck and dumped into the river along Lely Driver. Vung was able to flag down some help and the 2 brothers were able to be recovered. Another individual by the name of Tam Lay was involved in the kidnapping and associated with Tru. He was arrested in 2015 in Virginia and charged with homicide. Tru was convicted of both conspiracy and extortion-related offenses. Unfortunately, Liu remains at large, but is believed to be in Vietnam. 6 individuals are being charged for the roles they played in this offense. It was stated that after the initial investigation and arrests had been carried out, the case basically went cold in reference to the other individuals, including Liu, who had assisted in the crime. A few more of them were later captured, but still one remains out in the world. Lam Tru reportedly stated that he just wanted the victims to be scared, and that his intention was not to take their lives or bring them harm. The gang that these individuals are said to be affiliated with had terrorized New York City's Chinatown during the 1990s. This case is believed to be one of the most vicious of gang-related violence that Philadelphia had ever seen. Lay, who was 50 years old, had been arrested rather quickly, while it took investigators a few years to track down the rest, and still not all of them have been captured. The gang in question reportedly robbed rival gangs, ran protection rackets, and it even left a whole lot of homicides across New York as well as New Jersey. That was up until 1993, when a federal prosecution had gone to convict and incarcerate the gang leader. True's ties to such a gang had subsequently led to him becoming involved in the homicide and the kidnapping of two brothers, 43-year-old John Dow, Rivera, who was 35, and Min Nguyen faced charges for their part, while Liu, at the age of 40, is on the run and hiding. Another man, Hae Nguyen, who was 38 years old, had pleaded guilty to assisting in the case, where he had aided Lei in his escape. The FBI is still wanting to apprehend the fugitive. If anyone has any information regarding the whereabouts of this individual, you're urged to contact your local FBI office or closest American embassy or consulate. An anonymous tip can also be submitted online. Liu is still wanted for his crimes and remains in hiding as the Bureau continues to search for him. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But my name is Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.